But my pride and my ego, my mean-spirited witchy, and my selfish ways, I made a good, strong woman like you walk out my life. And now I'll never get to clean up the mess that I made, no. And I cry about it day and night, but I guess that's just the way it goes. After all, I chose witchcraft, and it all just sounded like ooh, and too young, too dumb to realize that I should have brought you flowers. Although it hurts, I'll be the first to say I was wrong. Oh, I know it's probably much too late to try and apologize for my mistakes, but I just want you to know that I hope he buys you flowers. I hope he holds your hand, gives you all his hours when he had the chance. I take you to every party, because baby you used to love dancing, but now somebody else is dancing with my baby Bumblebee. And now my baby's dancing with another dude. Dude was like 5'2", singing better music, and now Ganguti. Obviously, Karabo, nothing worked. I'm the best thing that ever happened to you. That's it, the narcissist. Because making himself look like he better or whatever. Because indeed, everybody is better than this Dumi monster. Everybody is literally better. Everyone is better than this freak that is trying to make the whole world pretend I don't exist. And so my ex-boyfriend is like, actually, I changed my mind. Baby, let me love you. I can be the waiting, whatever. All right? I feel like I'm done getting all dead. Time to introduce the message. How are you doing over there? Yeah, I'm only just getting started. Whoa, I'm being sat on the chest off by ugly witches. So everybody is just such a witch. Oh, everybody's just such a witch. Everybody. Everybody. Yo, like, by the way, yeah, they come in different degrees. They vary. Hectic, they're not so, they're bad. Every witch is nasty. Yeah, feel like that are like, they just always just like gurgling blood. The way they're so nasty. Like, very intense. And this Dumi guy is one of like the worst of the worst. And my ex-boyfriend thinks that he's better than him. Yeah. And indeed he is. Mara, I guess what I get really do ninja. So I guess at least they're not heki wonke. Otherwise, le maswa getting jangana tsetedi. Schemes are high in the occult. Impinches are abantu abafana naye. Ganguti is better than them. Abantu abafana naye. Ganguti is better. So anyway, let's just get into this. I'm introducing. Let's not nentse le reduti di fubeng. Let's not nentse le reduti di hubeng. Let's not nentse le reduti di hubeng. Le re karabo. Look around, girl. Scan the periphery. Scan at an FMCG. Once I'm look around, ain't nobody coming. Like, you know when people buy the only thing looking at you, or you looking at them. That is the very nature of abusers. And narcissists. You can have no one else. Out on a limb, down and out. Against you. I'm weary, I'm exhausted. Like proper. Wait to get yeah, anyway. Let's get into this. Whatever we must Hey, how you doing in the name of the Lord Jesus Christ? It's your girl Kankai. I hope you're good. I hope you're peachy. I hope you're stellar. And I hope you're in a neat little bunch. If you're not, welcome to the party. Is that just not the story of our lives? Today is my computer is not in here. It's in the house because I was delayed during the week doing uploads, edits, sorry. So therefore, all the content that I need to publish on Sunday is not yet up. So I put my computer in the house where it's close to Wi-Fi so it can just finish doing what it needs to do. So I need to look for the date somewhere else. 3 April. Let's start that intro again. Hey, how are you doing in the name of the Lord Jesus Christ? It's your girl, Pancake. I hope you're good. I hope you're peachy. I hope you're stellar. And I hope you're in a neat little bunch. If you're not, welcome to the party. Is that just not the story of our lives? Today is the 3rd of April. Yeah. It is the 3rd of April, 2026. And it's a relatively, oh my goodness, like what's going on there? Alright, but we're gonna get through it. We're gonna be fine. We're gonna survive. We're gonna make it. We're going to just get through the day. Let me just put some caveats out there. Let's put some caveats out there. Alrighty, so kindly gaze at my captions wherever they might be on the screen. They're there for your edification, or whatever. I'm a little bit slumped today, but by the time I'm done, I get right as rain and nicely recovered. Singing grand. Did I put my rings on right? Like, are they killing it? Are they massacring it or what? Anyway, yeah. Yo, I'm under a lot of attack, okay? So if I'm like sort of kind of scattered all over the streets, I'm finally gonna be here for you. Being unscattered and all over the streets. Alright. Gaze at my captions. So my captions are not always accurate. Sometimes it's like the wrong word altogether. It's misspelled, wrong word altogether, like just whatever it is that might be the issue going on with my captions. Okay, the reason I don't edit them, they sometimes grammatically off, and they certainly don't get transcribed when I speak in my mother tongues. It's because I don't have an incentive to do that, because I've got like a lazy harlot chilling on my chest, hoping to finalize something that she's not gonna make it, she's not gonna win, because she's working for a deviant, and yeah, that's on his way out. Like proper. Said Pelile for this Dumi guy. And so when I'm saying, oh nah, 5 to now she's on the clock. Grandshap, she's gonna die first. Out of Bonago fail. Yeah, now let me over higher. Let's scheme sessing at and YouTube. These people that are acting rogue. Donald Trump, I'm a moles. Abantu that don't make no kind of sense. First it was Joe Kent. Well, yeah, now he just took himself out. Now there is a woman called Pam Bondi, the Attorney General of America. She's been demoted now. Nishilongati, there's going to be a reshuffling of the Trump administration. And one day, the right person, Uzo Shiga, and the thing that is sitting on my chest at YouTube is Osuga. There are already signs and hints. And it appears stuff is happening week on week. The week before last, nearly Joe Kent. Now this week, Pam Bondi. I don't know next week, Mara eventually Guzo Hamba Omun that is responsible for helping you guys do this to us in Africa. Those are y'all that are working for the deep state YouTube. Somebody's about to get fired in the Trump administration, and when they go, what you're doing to me, it's over. What you're doing to me, it's over. These are prophecies being fulfilled. Like they all collectively said, we're gonna pretend to existing. Like as in she doesn't exist. Let's just act like she's a person who exists. Those are your decisions. That's what you're doing. More batho and hona no jwanong South Africa wa bona halena choice bo ngwana le bontwa isala nkutlo ntho le ngetsang yona. If it also YouTube was a South African platform, I was done for. I was screwed because the whole country is freaking corrupt. Story briefly touching on it. Sa Professor Kimang Anele Mkati Hammond, yeah, South Africa ebodile from the core, bubbling from the bottom of the ice. I touched on it, and the way I was so bereft about in this country. Mara, it appears things are getting worse and worse. Like, what should be lazy that you are doing to people? Mara, the professor, people like me. It's because of South African corruption. And imagine, I'll probably have South African corruption. Kimo feel help. Get an international body, bang feel a blank check. Who deal with South African corruption. Nishilongati. In yourselves, I need to pen. In yourselves, I know is anything right. Everyone that is your victim, Bazo Puma, Epafuno Puma. In the Lord upon seeking his face from international intervention. It's going to be international intervention. So corruption your corruption I cannot you think you got something on me. That you have held me hostage. Yeah, you have held me hostage, and I would be entirely and sufficiently screwed, if at all that is even an okay word to use as a Christian. If I was at the mercy of South African mercy. If I was at the mercy of South African mercy, if I was frankly out on a limb, unless someone from this country does better by me, I'll be screwed. I'll be done for. It would be over. You should know there is a prince over this country. Something wicked, something malevolent, nefarious. You bewitch strangers. You meet people on the street that you don't know. And there is a prince chilling over the entire country that is making sure that you all stay in a slump, some kind of a fever. You are dissing as South Africans. I keep getting the door on the South African men. But tentatively. If at all, Minayaba accommodate Yabatata, Bazo replace Abafaz Babonga, Bazo replace Abafazi Babongami. Oh, they accommodate being a side chick. There's nothing for Mahala, wara. A whole chunk of them, Mangaga. They've got a conservative political view in the sense that they can relate with me. They agree with many of my vantage points in terms of politics. Christianity, religious rhetoric, and never mind that. So frankly, they're hypocrites. Even their conservatism is hypocritical because Abeko in themselves conservatives. But they are pleasure seeking. And a whole chunk of them, I will tentatively embrace Christianity if you will let me go to now. Your dog, yes. In South Africa. South Africa is a cesspool. It's a mosh pit. A cesspool. And except for whoever is given an enablement internationally, unless Banama resources in Germany, like the professor and a footy enablement by an international body, or unless by Tandaza and seek the Lord's help for international intervention, or unless somehow Banama connections to help them out internationally. Otherwise, insofar as they're here in this country, twister in the wind. They will twist, they will go from pillar to post. Bazam and out of the snare the nation is under. Because what's holding matla, what's holding power. Babangata, and they are heading the country in pretty much every sector. I said that. Every sector, they're in big pharma, they're in big tech, they're in industry and trade, by everywhere, they're in the judiciary, so the judge, they are bribable, they are in the legislature and are actively trying to change this country's laws to fit their narrative. They are in the executive, they're members of parliament. It's too deep, it's intricately woven, and a deep state in a country that is weaved so deeply into just about every facet of society. Escape unless intervention unless intervention is from outside. And I'm grateful of the fact that YouTube is an international platform. It's not South Africa's. Mara, they've given you administrative powers here in this country to essentially run the platform. If anything, I think it is in the last video that I shared this, where the Lord showed me that you've already been given a notice by the US from where you are at. And so I'm not in your hands. I want freedom and a whole citizen of a nation. I might be a South African citizen, the deep state I don't know about that. The deep state could not care less about that. The only people watching my case right now, we will agree. We will agree. We are being gay. I am being gazed at. That has access to my case, anyone that is privy to what's going on, that's not part of the secret society. I am being severely surveilled. Mara, you see, that is on holiday, holding someone hostage in someone else's house that is on holiday. All that is needed at this particular juncture is for that person to come back from holiday, to realize there are squatters holding somebody committing a crime in their house. That's what you guys are like. You're like ones that are running a halfway house, a drug thing in some abandoned building. It looks abandoned, Mara, it's only because the owner is overseas. And then you are busy committing crimes on American platforms. You are 5'2", you are on your way out. In South Africa, la lawyer, and a cute little baby. You're hiding it, you're holding on to it because you want to get away with murder. You're hiding it because you want to get away with murder. You want to get away with this thing. It's impossible because you are literally committing crimes in somebody else's house, and it's only a matter before the owner of that house comes back home. And when then the owner comes back home, you have to find somewhere else to abuse. You have to find somewhere else to do your operations. You have to find somewhere else to go and murder, torture victims in this house angwazi anymore. So on YouTube, where you are torturing Christians, people who get dreams and visions about what you do, where you are torturing other random state enemies, that people that you feeling that they are enemies of the state, so you are blocking them from continuing to speak. Labantu laba that you are abusing on American platforms. Your reign of terror is coming to an end. So South Africans are going to finally be able to thrive on American platforms, in spite of you wanting to make sure that they never work again. Yes, you can function as barriers to entry in South Africa. Everywhere mobile the recruitment agency, everywhere mobile Mara, thank God for globalism, right? Where it is that we are now interconnected, we are interwoven. As Batwamole, so how in South Africa you are not bound in Jeffela to make money, you're not incarcerated by organs in money from South Africa. Where your corruption, where your corruption is going to be contained, maintained. It's a born because Bato have an option, especially those that you have made poor, that are victims of their own circumstances. Have no options other than to try to see what they can push. Entire geniuses. Proper. The biggest and better South Africans, the cream of the crop of your country. And make them go and scan groceries at Pick and Pay, dog. You know, the retailer, but South Africa or flip narrative. Oka Bang and herself an entrepreneur, creating jobs for other young people on the come up. Mamela, thank God for, like I said, globalism, for technology, for the industrial revolutions of this world. Because they have enabled individuals that are subject to the tyranny of their countries to no longer be subject to the tyranny of their countries. If there is corruption in your country, but your nation has got international access, I know it's alright, South Africa, it's okay. We understand that YouTube made dumb enough to come and put themselves on your shores because they thought that you could be trusted. They tried to ally with you as a country. They tried to invest in your nation, frankly, by helping you create job opportunities. Now, bavula ama avenues for abantu ukuthi bayosebenzele YouTube. Bayoziqhenya indaba ukuthi mina ngisebenzele Google, mina ngisebenzele YouTube. Akata mobile khotsa nyokweli yetsang. For the platforms abona. Belitlo incarcerate, belitlo your own thing. You went rogue, dog. Ni decidile ukuthi akuzoba nomuntu ngoba mina ngiyazi umuntu wazi omunye umuntu CEO yase YouTube South Africa or whatever or whatever. You have committed crimes. But this here belongs to America. So thank God that you are out here beating me up, torturing me, skinning me alive in their house. Because when they finally do the investigations that need to be done, I have a feeling that they're already being done. And you feel like somebody gets a notice from what the Lord showed me. When the right people get fired by the Trump administration, you're gonna have to go. Oh, you little freaking gangsters, you mobsters. Any piece you're just gonna act like I exist. Yeah, you're gonna pretend I don't exist. I do exist. I belong to Jesus. All very relevant. All very relevant. Just so he knows me. He acknowledges my existence. And ati ngikhona mina ngizelwe futhi unginikeze purpose on the day wangibiza. And for anybody to say we're gonna pretending ati she doesn't exist, that is what I heard when I woke up this morning. A word of knowledge just being dumped in my spirit that babatla ho pretend how exist. Haki one first and foremost. But it's not the only one. And how many of us there are? Yeah, it's going to be disgusting. How many people you have smothered and silenced is going to be just utterly disgusting to America. When finally, ban Susa from our platform Wabo to see how many people for no cause, no reason you have banned. Mina, as the week has been progressing in the spirit. The thought that is going to be ruminating in the minds of my liberators is that without cause, there was no reason. There's no reason why she's been banned like this. It's baseless. Yeah, thank you. The word that was used was baseless. The way I'm baseless. It's baseless. There's nothing that this woman is doing or saying to earn this level of censorship. Your syndicate is about to be unraveled. So I'm gonna that you think cute. I'm very ornate. I cannot you are of the imagination that we are birds of a feather flocking together because I'm conservative in the way that I think politically. No man, and that's why South Africa go feel like Kopani. I choose to follow other than just because I'm not like and a whole conservative in its own is not sufficient. It's not enough. Because give me a whole bunch of conservative men in the black community in particular. I agree with you politically. I cannot so not only that, you are part of the reason why I am suffering. I have been incarcerated. But don't get a concubine, but don't get a side chick, dog. And then what's worse is that even though men are chatang and jeso, and that for me is a deal breaker. And as evil as you are happy to help. Basically, you feel good about and for as long as I'm still in these chains, the imagination that is coursing through your veins is dead. She's out for grabs. For as long as I am in this position, so basically, for getting me. Insofar as I'm in these chains, dangerous and conservative politically they agree with me. Is irrelevant because you are a pleasure-seeking monster. You are a pleasure-seeking monster, and whether or not your politics are conservative is irrelevant because facets of you are full of rape. Facets of you as in andaba na bafazi. As in human rights, you are contributing to the gender-based violence epidemic in this country. So whether or not you agree with me, you take a stand, you also think Uguchi BE must fall, because what's the point? What is it doing anymore? You think Uguchi, family, love, all these things that conservatives stand for, modesty, woke culture must fall, all these things. It doesn't matter, because you're still evil. In the Bible it is written that even your most righteous works are like filthy rags, and that the human heart is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked in a way. So therefore, no manikabanga izinto engathi ziyakhaza. Or even if you can be altruistic, philanthropic, in one portion be a good guy, in one portion you can be a good guy, but what is rather true in the scriptures is that all that is irrelevant, because your righteous works are like filthy rags, given that in one corner you're nice and rapey, in another facet of the world, in another portion of your existence, you decrepit monster, you are a beast. If at all doors were to close, behind those closed doors you are rapey, you are monstrous, you're abusive. So for those reasons, it doesn't matter that you think woke culture is trash, that all this infiltration or shoving down our throats of LGBTQIA nonsense on Netflix is nonsense. It doesn't matter that you also agree that gay marriage should have not been legalized in this country. It doesn't matter that you are of the frankly, if at all it is a conservative viewpoint, abortion should be still illegal, or there should be witchcraft should be regulated. All the things that I basically stand for politically, it's irrelevant that you also stand with them and that you agree with me. When you are the kind of beast to basically stand back and watch a woman suffocate, writhe, and die because to find out that you have contributed to the mutiny against Impiliomfasi. I understand that Uncle one in South Africa enduring this. Mara, those who do oppress and those who do arrest, those who do incarcerate, those who do wrongfully imprison are too powerful for any of their victims to ever truly breathe. That's why Anele Mkati Hammond, professor, and body some films resources. She's a wealthy woman, connections. Even the people that she knows. This thing is so tightly protected. There's a video that I watched in a commentator guy in the commentator in there was Babi Malloy. She was talking about the professor, and I saw a picture of the professor. It's like she was giving a sash or some kind of an honorary whatever degree to Patrice Motsepe. So basically, what's about Patrice Motsepe? Oh, Patrice Manch. Oh, now that she's coming out in the world, now that she's coming to the front lines. I thought oh, Patrice Wakon. Where is he? The man of which Patrice Motsepe. ANC is busy saying he should be the next president of South Africa. So ANC is behind it. Why is Patrice not calling her on some? What's going on? So that he can see what strings he can pull for her. As she's busy giving her testimony, she speaks about mayors and whatnot that she knew, one of which had approved some project, whatnot, but she said that she doesn't want to be involved in anything corrupt. All her connections, all the people in the government and all the people in the private sector are very, very intense. But all the people in the public sector and the private sector that she knows from back in the day, essentially they should call her on some, hey, what's going on? Later she had to come now to the media. To all of us, TikTok, thank God. I'm a blocker from the get-go the way that I'm blocking. Thank God. Evidently. Why did none of them call her up on some, let's see what we can do about this? It's intricately woven, but connected. And so, Mocho, that will knock on a door and say, this thing, knock on a door on some this thing, is not going to get the appropriate response. And who's about confused as a public. That's what happened with me. Like, Papa, I went to a law firm in Sandton, and the damn lawyer, I'm sorry for this kind of language, thoroughly told me what's settled no MTN before I would just talk because when I say, this is a losing battle. You are fighting a whole big corporate and they're going to run you around like a headless chicken. That's why I quit my case. That's why I get because I knew I've already shared this sentiment. I knew if I don't find, listen, I said this, you can listen if you have energy. Go through all of my work, all the first ministry, second, third one, Lana, Nishilo. Ngati, unless I get sponsored by corporates, Angizo win against MTN. And then not only did I say that, Nishilo Ngati, oh God, unigeze, ipupo. Senteniki sebeta, go MTN. Before I everything, I was given these things as prophecy in advance. I first need to sing before Kibuwa too much, but I'm going to, as I'm introducing my video, let this be essentially the roundup and some of what I'm going to talk about. So let me just say this before voice because if I don't sing first, my voice is going to fall apart. Okay, yeah. I said that I got a dream. Since I because why was that even a thing? Why was that even a thing? Because that afflicted. So in a sense, now today it makes sense. Where I saw Koloi, BMW, a white, and on it, a stadium, like when there's like a World Cup, various sponsors, World Cup, like Coca-Cola or a Nestle or what do you call it? Like, give me like Nike, whatever it is that can sponsor, Adidas, and you will find all their branding all over the stadium type establishment thing. It says that this here soccer event is sponsored by Nike, is sponsored by Adidas, is sponsored by BMW, is sponsored by Volvo, is sponsored by whatnot. Ke lori le ka BMW e white, and on that BMW e white there were brands, Coca-Cola. There were brands eziningi on the car, on the BMW. It was, I can't remember 100% what all the brands were, but I certainly remember Coca-Cola and BMW. There's another one that I remembered and then it eluded me. Mara, these here brands, mezi all over le moto yakhona nganikezwa yona. I was given this car for mahal, and in my dream I was like, why would anybody give me a BMW? And why was that BMW with so many brands on it, like Nike, Adidas, and whatnot? When I say Nike and Adidas, I'm not saying these were in my dream, but I'm making examples at this point. I don't want to confabulate. Mara, certainly Coca-Cola was on there. BMW was certainly the vehicle in question here that was represented, and there were plenty of brands on this car that then was given to me. And after I lost Umsebenzwam, I then got a similar dream again, where yet again there was a BMW and branding all over the vehicle, and the Lord showing me, oh, sponsor corporate. South Africa is going to be split right down the center. And when then this case of yours comes to the forefront, there's going to be division. Corporates are going to essentially, like what's happening with Donald Trump right now with his war or Iran, how it is that initially many of the European nations were standoffish. Next, despite the fact that they had a great stake in the Strait of Hormuz being opened, and also in just Iran being eradicated, the regime. But they stood back, they were standoffish. But when it became clear that they were on the wrong side of history, France joined in. Even the EU, the EU joined in. A couple of nations of the EU, Italy joined in. A whole bunch of nations basically said, we're going to put basically, even the UK, though Keir Starmer is straddling the fence, they essentially cast their bet with the US and Israel, because that was evidently the right side of history. The regime was falling, and if it all is going to fall, they don't want to be known as having just stood back and done nothing, and so therefore been complicit in the incendiary activity of the Iranian regime. So people essentially join the right side, realizing where history is taking a direction that they might not be implicated and brought low, and also that they might have corporate responsibility shine on them, that their own company's reputation might be well represented in the future by the fact that they took a stand for the right cause. Yeah, I saw a dream where a whole bunch of corporates essentially ended up agreeing to sponsor my case, agreeing to sponsor me, and a class action that I am also involved in. A whole bunch of corporates joined later because they wanted to be on the right side of South African history. They wanted to be on the right side. And among these companies, BMW and Coca-Cola in particular, and the rest of them, and I think God is insisting, and that's the only way that I'm gonna be able to succeed. MTN. Mara na ke poverty stricken hagana ko hona ning lo kala KC ke be ke sheba ke BMW le whatnot. Ke be ke sheba ke corporates ba batlang ho umfa blank check, like Anela was given a blank check. Why would they do that? The only reason why corporates come onto a party and give a person a blank check is because they see what a lucrative lawsuit it is and what it means for the company's reputation, and how people are evidently wrong when evidence is stacked up to the heavens in favor of the plaintiff, where it is that there has been just mass violations of human rights. When something is an obvious win, people stand with you, because what's about on the other side, their company is going to gain good report. It's goodwill for their company. Mara, that can only happen if an individual goes viral on social media. I'm a cause athatwa for people poor. I'm a cause athatwa for abantu bangazukubhadala ama lawsuit. Insofar as umuntu lona a complaint yakhe, it bombs up the internet. Insofar as it complaint muntu, it becomes a viral sensation internationally. So God gave me the idea to essentially go on YouTube already in 2015. And well, my blog was a place where I started to write already early in 2014 when I was losing everything. Precisely because God had shown me where I was viral and I was being looked at by batho ba bangata. So I thought that at that very moment was when I was going to get the virality of my case. Immediately, as soon as I go on social media, I'm gonna go boo, I'm gonna bomb up. I know the moment I've been banned, my WordPress account, I don't want to talk too much, I want to sing first. My WordPress account, my blog where I used to write, that was the first place where I was writing, where I was documenting in stories when I was still employed at MTN, but busy the game they had just suspended me without cause, but I was still on their books as an employee. It took them 4 to 5 months, I told you guys that, to ultimately take my case to finally fire me. There wasn't even a disciplinary hearing. They just fired me, and then they claimed that I resigned. I told you the stories in my other videos. You're gonna have to listen to all that. As soon as I wrote in my blog, I had been in it writing for Jesus. I was writing for the cross it was a hobby. It was something I was doing on the side, and I decided to use my blog to write in it. And in my blog, some of my colleagues had access to my blog. Bangi Paisa to management. And as a blog prior to me having this debacle issue in the MTN, I was getting hits, I was getting views, I was growing, I was getting my blog at that stage was about 2 years old, and I already had about 500 followers. I already had about 500 followers / subscribers in my blog, and it was growing, and I was writing over there daily. With every article I would write, I would get several likes, I would get several shares, several rebloggings. Basically, I was writing as a hobbyist. I wasn't trying to make money off it. If I had not been afflicted in this fashion, if blog might have been monetized later on. I would have had quite a handsome, beefy Christian website as the years would progress, because I was growing. People loved my stuff. As soon as I started writing about MTN, and my colleagues caught wind of my stuff, because people were freaking surveilling me. Every article I wrote, where before I would get hits, I would get likes, I would get reblogs, stopped. All the traffic just stopped. So I went from writing and getting interaction to writing and no one views, not even one like. But after posting, within an hour, somebody would have already liked or forwarded or commented in my blog. That stopped completely. It discouraged me later on, even from writing. I haven't written in my blog right now for years. It discouraged me. YouTube was the same thing. I started a YouTube channel, and in the beginning I would get per video 3,000 views, 4,000, and then it just went quiet. And it's been like that ever since. That is what South Africa is doing to people. I knew that God showed me that I'm gonna go viral one day. And so when I wrote and it went nowhere, I was like, what's going on? When I uploaded on YouTube across all YouTube was the first social media that audio visual social media I used. As the years would progress, I would start a TikTok. That too was suddenly blocked. Facebook blocked. Instagram, Bona didn't even let me get anywhere. Everywhere I went, the only place engangi blockanga. Even Rumble. I'm telling you now, Rumble, the one that claims to give freedom of expression, nababang blocker. The only place where I didn't suddenly start getting traffic flowing was Twitter. No, Twitter in the beginning, my original Twitter is blocked. Way before Elon Musk took it over. But after Elon Musk took Twitter over. Go Twitter, I'm not active, I'm not thriving. Twitter is not the best video library. Listen, I'm not that hectic on Twitter. You understand? Go Twitter, otherwise known as X, is the only place where there was no shiga shenanigans. Everywhere else, na blockwa. And something tells me Twitter or X, maybe the reason why we are shenanigans corner is because I gonna officially Twitter or X here in South Africa. Maybe more South Africans where they could get their hands grabby and dirty. I was blocked. TikTok, it's Chinese, it's not American. Why block? Because South Africa's got alliances in China, whatnot. That happened with me. Do you understand? And it's been like that for years, ever since, pretty much ever since. I've been surveilled at that height. Who in the world would decide yes, of course, I'm a powers that be at MTN, but other bigger haughtier powers, because I'm picking up bone with so many corporates. MTN, of course, originally, but there's also Alexander Forbes. There is Chemeth. There is Investec involved in this Baldwin group. I got abused by everyone because of what in the world under heaven is going on with me. And these people, they are intricately woven. And by connections, they know how to essentially make your life go nowhere. Chock up blocked, stop, da. Full, like dead break. Everywhere you go, I'm a brick walls. And so this is Hammond, the doctor, the professor. Thing to see is because in the beginning, the daughter. In the beginning, MTN everyone he invested they do not have access to my mom. They just ignored me until I cried so long that somebody finally decided to do something for me. Alexander Forbes Kemef MTN Baldwin Group my landlords, boy too. They spoke to my mom, the one repented, he just continued to refuse to talk to me. Yo, dog, it was so bad. Because I was always throwing my toys at the court, because why are you treating me like this? I had been invalidated. My legal personality did not, it's like there was, you know what happened with Britney Spears? How there was a conservatorship, there is a conservatorship over her by her family. She's not a whole, I regard her as an adult. And dancers in the entertainment industry went on a strike, rioted on behalf of Britney Spears on some free Britney, because there is a conservatorship over her, making it such that everything I batlang wa rekelwa o thito ka ke ngwana tšhelete ha e tse dingata tse di entseng wa tlhakolwa nke re ke ngwana wa fiwa tšhelete carry nke re ke ngwana because of what happened during the time when she had that meltdown a kuta meriri ya hae whatnot, and all these years down the line Britney is still being treated like a child. She is still under conservatorship. I don't know if it has ever since then been lifted, but the woman's whole entire career in life fell apart because they gave like some kind of guardianship role to her dad. And so I don't know we get for anything. Oh, Britney Spears. Marana, that never was done to me. I know I'm not under any kind of conservatorship like Britney Spears. No such court order was ever made on my behalf, and yet almost every legal or juristic person chose to kuluma no mawam or usiswam and not me. Just freaking bizarre. And stuff like that is happening all across South Africa. And when I listened to stories of Annele Hammond, I was like, hey, shit, okay, no. Go, I always I feel like naketa go ha kena chelete and I can the resources I can naketa go ha kena batho mara batho ba powerful ba tlhogisa ka like A1. Hi ba no tseba stories how hi ba you can speak for yourself. Bazo insist ukuthi bazokhuluma nomunye umuntu with whom they did not contract. Mamela ke ha ke go MTN on email. Ke ha ke bua le bona ke re mamelana. I'm the one here that is in an employer-employee contract with MTN. Why are you talking with my mom? Why are you with me? Kupa pension money kupa this, kupa that, and that did not stop happening. Contract landlord, I was like, I've signed a contract with you. I am your tenant, not my mom. Why are both of them? I am your tenant, not my mom. I am your tenant. I could not believe what in the world is going on. This country is under a prince. This country is under a principality. She spoke about how it is at Natal. She was bashing her head. Because of the busy standing. Thank the Lord. She in herself has a legal mind because of the law. I get to go and put the gun because contact in a grand chapel. Koloi and I saw Naki take a koloi. Kikoloya Mewaka is just a owner. Mara I own a monkey mera. Moya batum. Ke habahana who well in the way that Bahana who wale ane. Bahane who wale the doctor. Bahane, Lina Bahane. Nchota Jana. But evidently something is along South Africa. And it doesn't matter what it doesn't matter. Not the colleagues in Nako MTN. They were willing to, one of them actually contacted me after bang suspender without cause. And one email and send a text message, seeing as I still had what you might call this e-phone yam. No, I did not have e-laptop yam. As I'm going to email send it a text message. Go text messaging no one wanted to email before bang suspender without cause. If you need somebody to stand with you, go CCMA, I'm there for you. Later on, I retreat because over no hair. Email di against Garaba and another no monna onang le bana le msadi a ke batla go latlhegelwa ke mosebetsi so aswa monna. So even people that were willing to stand for me stood back. Mara I understand hore they will come out of the woodworks bazophuma like rodents in some piping after bathola ngamanzi batlozwa insofar as they feeling that I've got sufficient backing. So the same men and the same colleagues that were like, I will stand for you, ngizo testify on your behalf. Yes, down the line seba khudle se tsabana le dintjebe tse grey se tsabana le bana ba di teenagers se tsabana le bana ba nyalang. 15 years ago, and they're going to say, I'm willing to stand on behalf of Garabo because at the time I was scared. Because they use fear. That's what they do. They use fear. So I don't doubt my colleagues, but say MTN that would contact me in the future once I have got the right legal standing behind me. Once I have got the right backup. I had like a wife and children to feed. I had one on the way. I couldn't. So I'm sorry that I backed down. I was cowardly. I was cowardly. Ma, would you not be cowardly when you realize what an entire country wants you dead? An entire nation might treat that like Nyongo and Professor Hammond, bamzamile to physically try to kill her. Bamu threatened physically. Not do you wanna know why? God won't choose his own protectile from physical threats on my person. Bamu threatened because ona tosa. Ona na le resources, ona khona go khote, ona khona lwana, ona tseba batho na le connection. So bamu threaten nna ba betsi fela bang ignore. Bang shenga ba betsi bang a silent treatment. Nabang zibi like a silent treatment because mengena mali, mengena ma resources and futhi mengena support. Wonke umuntu mekaphume kimi. And so for those reasons they were like, we just need to ignore her until she dies off. And it has so far been 11 years going on 12. God, when you don't die off, when you take people to court, when you've got more than enough resources, when you've got vets upon vets to fight, when you have got a legal mind in yourself, when you can represent yourself, when you've got this and that, I know, that's when they try to kill you. So yeah, naba mo zamme vele namara bangzama make it go away. That's how corrupt this country is. So unless you have got the resources, which frankly the majority of South Africans don't have, the majority of South Africans, resources, we are the most unequal country in the world, and this majority that is being done this to are too poor to fight. So most of us, I guess, don't get threatened. Most of us don't get don't get people, we don't come back home and find people sitting in our lounges. Most of us don't have that happen because we're not threatening. They can just shut us up and by completely ignoring us. And since everybody ignores the poor, how now the resources, you will then endure what it is that the professor endured, unfortunately. But thank God she's been preserved. The one time when there was a threat, God has been evidently all up in there because God is picking a controversy with this country. He is picking a controversy with this corruption. And the reason why the Lord ascertained Uguti, I am maintained in poverty, and all these barriers to entry, making sure that I don't work again, God let it be a thing. Because insofar as I am poor, God saw, indeed, He is God, He knows everything. I will be kept safe. Insofar as next, if anything, this morning, to understand a word of knowledge telling me that they want to pretending that I don't exist. Yeah, no, you will pretending that your mundo doesn't exist insofar as she's non-threatening. Because I need a mind. When come to the one classically and be like, there's nothing going on. We don't care. Mara, if Nicola the resources, if Nicola Muhumi, if Nicola the chile that's a kotsi, I might be in the ground today. So, it's precisely because I'm not loto. Mara, the day's gonna come, opportune moment, Lankuto. That's why I gotta move to the US. I have to leave. I would not be safe if at all I suddenly gained clout in this nation. I am going to have my independence materially, financially. South Africa. Mara, growth yaka, exponential in terms of my ministry. That's gonna happen from the US because that's where I'm safe. I have to leave the country. I'm not safe here. I can say iffy. For now, the death ritual, the what not, the what man, the what have you, right? From a distance. Spiritually, because I've shown you flames. I'm still non-threatening material. But as soon as whatever America does happens, and my chest is God is going to quickly arrange for me to move to the US. Huge, like when I blow up, when my ministry blows up, too far for all of your Zinkabis to get to me. And I am going to build a case from America, South Africa. Keep it safe, you will remember Hammond, the doctor, said she had to move to Cape Town to be safe. Because Momo, Johannesburg, I guess she had to move to a hotel, still they poisoned her daughter. Alemon, I talk on high, I are hoteling. I can go Cape Town. Mara, generally she's in Switzerland or is it Sweden? One of them countries. I think it's Switzerland. Generally that's where she's working. I don't want to hire separately because there's just danger in circling both of them. So separately, where the one is at, or to make sure safety over there. You will also remember how or attempting murder. Cat matala, that's a banda cat. But why did tender business government? Respect until it becomes clear who so dangerous. There was a shot, one of her friend ended up in a wheelchair, she was shot more the foot. They were carrying for assassinator. They were all gonna do to go to Dubai. I don't know where she's staying today. Mara, she still fears for her life. While Case and Cat Matala is doing its thing. Maybe I don't know what's going on with Teboho today. Mara, they just order a hit on you. Babita Singh is gone altogether. One teenage. That is this country. So God preserved Teboho. Babita's gone. Anele and the daughter are alive. I am alive. God knows how many else other South Africans are dead. Mara, our corporates are being run by corrupt monsters. Anele speaks about Standard Bank. Now I was with MTN. Listen, I don't want to get too much into talking, right? Mara, I'm gonna explain these nuances, these intricacies. Insistence on my person on me disappearing. And then I'm like, Mamela, you know the thing that Anele says, justice delayed is justice denied. When you have got a righteous indignation in you, and then Toy doing more Sifu Saka is righteous indignation. Toy doing more Sifu Saka is righteous indignation. And I'm not talking to Lisa. I'm not talking to Nisang Mati because feel dog. Yo, dog, mamel. I am indignant because this here indignation in Inkizoyam. And so where's what this atina? Get passionate if you know Mudimo, it's not gonna lift. And the passionate Mudimo is for the whole country. Godwa, abantu lanzanzi abasindisangwa, bafika, bapretenda, bamixa. But the ancestors, Anele, the professor spoke about how she called on her daughter during one during one castigation. Y'all are not leaning on Jesus. So for those reasons, the prince over the country that is keeping these people in power will never move. And for as long as the prince does not go, everybody is still at the mercy of these structures. They are spiritual in nature. They're diabolical and they cannot be uprooted, but for spiritually. So because you're ungodly as a nation, and because you are lukewarm, you're mixing Christ with all different kinds of other trash, you are still going to live in this nasty dystopia. And that is why Mina Nyahamba in South Africa, I'm leaving. I've got to go because I'm not gonna make it. I'm not gonna win this. Chilling under these principalities. I'm not gonna make it. That's what's going on. And that's what we're gonna talk about today. Go and revela go bua ka ntho tse di etsang. Le taba gore le batla o suna batho, le batla o logola le batho, le batla o lo batnya go mantlu cause ba bantle. Anele, you know how beautiful she is. Karabo muhle. So I'm feeling if you don't feel and just like kiss me a couple of times, put a baby in my stomach. Put me in a house, then yeah, I do. Amanda Black la sauce. And so far as I can just get a ring, because all these other women they're sprinting down the aisle, they're not walking. And so far as I can just get a ring on my finger. Corruption all these years. Corruption that has disenfranchised me. Corruption that has made sure that now I can have a future, I can next. Yo, but no. Ana out here come to this again when can you pacify a dummy momolomo mara ba tswela pele a etsa ntho e nna e ke entsweng yona to other South Africans le tlo re na at least usizwe indaba yokuthi muhle karabo usizwe indaba yokuthi noma una 40 something mosabuke so wachadwa masisha. Otherwise if muiskobo shem mozo qhetheka no you're just gonna disappear. You're gonna fade in the cracks. Uthuswa fela kutaba go umuntle uthuswa fela kutaba go wa bakhaza wabina. You're charming so ke re taunyala he yo cabanga the very outy. The very kind of outie, the very kind of monster that has disenfranchised me and is disenfranchising the entire country that I loathe, that I despise. Basically, at least, at least when yo, as in, guzo shoe. Anyway, I briefly blew the house down and huffed and puffed like a big bad wolf. Though I must first sing, I did that. I huffed and puffed and blew the house down first. In an intro, just to let you know what's up and coming. Later, se foto listing sa paraffin re lo complain re lo la ka ntho e gale re ntse re lela o lo le tlhalosetsa hape lo re basadi toe lona le accommodate bo put madisa ba snacks hey we o ba zama ho le khutletsa back to 1902 where I lost so many human rights and ba le underestimate mara ba le smalela cause le bantle ho disregard khalefo ya ha go fe ho disregard intakanipho mamela ha bana taba go tlhalefile o badile ore o believer eng mo life ha bana jona se ba regressa. Walking like Michael Jackson. Has to regress abanna. To thinking of you as nothing but nether regions, hey? Nether regions and a pretty face. Ndefela ke how kalo puta di hempe, olo aina, olo fiela, olo baga, olo tlhatwa dijana, kontlu. Ore ke fitla ho nkasopo e phegang. Abana se ba batla go etsa ntwe o tlhalefile hure. In 2026, obo we nka daideng. Yo, we tsikeng ba OC. You did that to yourselves. Amatota eno ngala CEO abolile wa ma companies. Amatota eno ngoba ni you're running slay queen culture. Le matheletse chelete. Khalipi bekamoso. Le batlogetse ba le ntshe ko dikolong. Le batlogetse ba le ntshe ko mesebetsing. Le batlosa mamela. I am a Christian woman. So I am absolutely in favor of the traditional wife. In myself I would have been willing to be a stay-at-home mom, a stay-at-home wife. In so far as ndoda yakho menzi sense mengahlangi. Mara la matota ayahlangene futhi corrupt. Uzogcina wena only out on a limb. I don't know how many women are on the internet out here be chilling out in hotels ka bana ka lesiele le ntshale bana ba ithuba bana. E gore monna teng o moragile o montshitse go jarateng cause o thotse motho o mongwe le metere ka montle ka mona. Found a mistress and then told his wife get out. I don't like you anymore. What the heck? Ke potso gore mosadi toe in 2026. Anare monna ona o tlontse gore ha zangwe bona facet ya character ya gage ena e bodileng gore o tlotwa nyoko yana ena no ga e gore e tlotwa. How I bona cause usually the character flaws you tend to see them before you or when you're just dating. Before you even fall pregnant, oh baby mama, you who are fornicating out of wedlock having sex. Character already was bubbling like a brook. Character thing bubbling like a brook already. You've lost all those years of experience. I'm not that insist on this. The reason why abafazi even though bayafuna ukuziputha to be stay-at-home wives abathandwa enough and abakho safe. So noma ufuna vele ukuyonakekela abantwana ungenandaba. Climbing up the corporate ladder, whatnot. When now about a fellow family, even though you have got ill love or a desire for a traditional family, abuko safe. Not at least among the it's not safe. So nento papabana for munna. And then you find yourself out on a limb. And when then a man insists what the heck? He's dangerous. When a man insists on that day he's a child molester. One of his baby mamas has got umtana with whom he slept. He has slept with one of his own children. That's what this man is like. Mosadi that could give birth to bana ba banyana. Awatongela monna wa child molester. O rata go nka mmele ya bana ke re leba bana. Outshinga ena ishala bo girl in school uniform. God showed me the other day baby Jake Matala. When I was on the come up, I'm sorry, baby Jake Matala. When I was growing up, Nikki Kena said John Adamson High School. This guy used to stay in the south of Johannesburg. I believe Gurgling Vista. And Lenjalena me infamous. He was infamous in the schools in the south. He was infamous. What's it, John? He was infamous. Putina said Glen Vista High. The Hill, all the high schools, frankly, in the south of Johannesburg. Or baby Jake on a school. And then Nasikila stop a red Porsche or whatever or a Ferrari gets more than I stop abatla o nkenya go lo nya ha angshela ke ha ke ipotsa ga buti towe mdala ontate o godile boxer ele famous in the country mdala ha ona ngwana o godileng. I was born in 1984. I was in high school 1998 to 2002. Nobody that was in high school during that time, including those that were a little bit older or a little bit younger, all na sa tsebo baby jake ona rata o shela bana ba sekolo jwang. Anyone that like an Monty or Sir John, whatever might be the school in the south of Johannesburg, bayazi ukuthi baby jake mathanda ushela Tina mekathanda ushela abogela abancane. And God compared this guy to baby Jake Matlala. Oh, shall I get a stofita uniform? He be the other day where he was just like baby Jake. Up busy as topoko high. To a point where Baba Muhutela Comona, Baby Babuti, Roboto Red, Ibule green, Roboto green, Kopoto and Jeffela, Emma Pelangana school, move on. And the only thing that made this man stop trying to holler at me or Kikanamoko high was the Bora another Kakomora high Mutates. Cause born a Roboto Celebrate out. Roboto Red, Kopota Maya Feta. Baby Jake Matlala, but I look young when I was school uniform when I 15. Kokolwenya hayi ukwetsa ukankinya ko mentioning how go the south of Johannesburg ono go bala le ngwana nje fela mongana ona mosadi I don't know if that man was married or what mara naka toshela bana and I don't know why he didn't go down for statutory rape. I don't know why he did not go down for statutory rape mara mekathanda abantwana besikolo mekamfitshane futhi. Maybe it's because nale mkhutwana I ketsebe mara ha ona le chelete doesn't matter go mkhutwana hakaka basadi ba tla wena no matter what akere baleng your age basadi ke baleng 18 and over. Ntatwa haye o tshwana le Hugh Hefner. Ntatwa wa this to me guy he started like Hugh Hefner. You know how Hugh Hefner was this like perfect guy that used to run Playboy, yeah, and he was always encircled even though mega kuka. Kibana that were 18 and up, kids that were young, at least yana he una insista Hugh Hefner or babe 18 and up. Mara nagata bongwana.